was a rich couple who was throwing a big New Year party at their house. So they went shopping at the market where everything was of high cost and fixed price. They wanted to maintain their level of standards, so didn't mind paying for it. After purchasing all they needed, they called a porter to carry everything and drop it at their home. The porter who came was of old age, and not very healthy looking. His clothes were torn, looked as if he wasn't even able to meet his daily needs. They asked the porter about the charges for delivering their goods to their home. The old porter quoted just $20, well below the market rate for delivering goods at the couple's home in his cart. Yet, the couple argued and bargained with the porter and finally settled for $15. The porter was struggling to make even one-time's meals, so he needed anything he can earn. The couple was very happy, thinking how well they'd bargained with the poor porter, and paid him $15 in advance, and left after giving the porter their address for delivery. They reached their home an hour passed, and 2 hours passed, but the porter still hadn't delivered their stuff. The wife started to get angry at her husband. "I always tell you not to trust such a person, still you never listen to me. Such a person who is not even able to earn to feed himself for one time in a day. You handed him everything we purchased for our big party. I am sure instead of delivering at our home, he must have disappeared with everything. We must immediately go back to the market to inquire, and then to the police station to file the complaint against him." They both left for the market. On their way near the market, they saw another porter. They stopped him to inquire about the old porter, and noticed that he was carrying their stuff in his cart. The angry wife asked him, "Where is that old thief? This is our stuff and he is supposed to deliver it. It seems you poor thieves are stealing our stuff and going to sell it." The porter replied, "Madam, please calm down. That poor old man was sick since last month. He wasn't able to earn enough to even have a single meal of the day. He was on the way to deliver your stuff, but he who was hungry and sick couldn't gather the strength to go any further in this heat of the noon. He fell down, and while handing me $15, his last words were, 'I had taken an advance for this delivery. You take this and please deliver to this address.' Madam, he was hungry, he was poor, but he was an honest man. I was just on the way to complete the old man's last delivery at your home," the porter said. Upon hearing this, the husband had tears in his eyes, but the wife felt so ashamed she had no courage to see up in her husband's eyes. The moral of the story is, honesty has no class. Respect everyone regardless of their financial and social status. It's always a good deed to give to the one who deserves it. Nita was recently married and had started living in a joint family with her husband and in-laws. After a few days, she started to realize that she is not able to get along with her mother-in-law. Nita's mother-in-law was conservative, whereas Nita was liberal with a modern lifestyle. Soon they both started quarreling due to differences in opinions and lifestyles. As days and months passed, none of them changed their behavior. Nita became very aggressive over time and started to hate her mother-in-law. She started to think about how to get rid of her mother-in-law. Once, as usual, when she quarreled with her mother-in-law and her husband took his mother's side, she became more angry and left for her father's home. Nita's father was a chemist, and she told him about everything that's been happening. Then she pleaded with her father that gives her something poisonous, so she can mix it up and give it to her mother-in-law to get rid of her, or else she won't go back to her husband's home. Nita's father felt pity for her situation but told her, "If you give poison to your mother-in-law, you and I both will end up in jail." It is not the right thing to do, but Nita was in no mood to listen and understand. Finally, her father gave in. He told her, "Okay, as you wish, but I don't want to see you in jail, so do as I tell you." Nita agreed. Her father brought a powder and told her, "Every day when you make a lunch or dinner, just mix a little pinch of this powder in your mother-in-law's meal. Since the quantity will be less, she won't die quickly but will slowly in few months, and people will think she has died naturally." He also told her, "Because no one should have doubt about you, from today onwards, you will not fight at all with your mother-in-law, but instead you will be very caring towards her. Even if she says something which you don't like, you will not be rude, you will simply be polite only." Nita agreed, thinking she will be free from her mother-in-law's quarreling in a few months, and came back to her in-laws as advised by her father. She started mixing the powder in her mother-in-law's meals and behaved very caring and polite whenever her mother-in-law said something. As time started to pass, Nita's mother-in-law's nature also started to change. Because Nita was very caring towards her, she too started to be affectionate toward her. 5 months passed and Nita had been mixing the powder, but the atmosphere of the house was changed. There were no quarrels, both were praising each while talking to neighbors. They got very attached to each other like a mother and daughter. Now, Nita started to get worried, thinking due to the powder, her mother-in-law may die soon. She ran to her father's home and told him, "Dad, please give me the antidote to cure the effect of that poisonous powder you gave. I don't want to lose my mother-in-law. She is just like my mom and I love her very much." Her father smiled and said, "Which poison? I had simply given you a sweetener." There was a small village by the river. Everyone lived happily and offered regular prayers at the village temple, church. Once during the monsoon season, it rained heavily. The river started overflowing and a flood entered the village. Everyone started to evacuate their homes and set out to go to a safe place. One man ran to the temple, church. He quickly went to the priest's room and told him, "The flood water has entered our homes and it is rising quickly. And water has also started to enter the temple. We must leave the village as in no time it will sink under the water. Everyone has set out to go to the safer place, and you must come along." The priest told the man, "I am not an atheist like you all, and I have full faith in God. I trust God that He will come to save me. I will not leave the temple, you may go." So the man left. Soon, the water level started to rise and reach waist height. The priest climbed on the desk. After a few minutes, a man with a boat came to rescue the priest. He told the priest, "I was told by the villagers that you are still inside the temple, so I have come to rescue you. Please climb on the boat." But the priest again refused to leave, giving him the same reason. So the boatman left. The water kept rising and reached the ceiling, so the priest climbed to the top of the temple. He kept praying to God to save him. Soon the helicopter came. They dropped the rope ladder for the priest and asked him to climb on and get inside the helicopter so they can take him to a safer place. But the priest refused to leave by giving him the same reason again. So the helicopter left to search and help others. At last, when the temple nearly submerged under the water, the priest kept his head up and started complaining. "O Lord, I worshipped you for all my life and kept my faith in you. Why didn't you come to save me?" God appeared in front of him, and with a smile he said, "O madman, I came to save you 3 times. I came running to you to ask you to leave for the safest place with other villages. I came with a boat. I came with helicopter. What is my fault if you didn't recognize me?" The priest realized his mistake and asked for forgiveness. He got his chance to go to the safe place one more time, which he accepted.